Hey, it's me, Arvelyn, and I'm talking about homeowners associations today. So I have been in real estate over 20 years now, and if I've had this conversation about homeowners associations at all, it has got to be at the very minimum once per year, very minimum. So I've had this conversation a lot. So let's talk about it. Let's get right into it. And you tell me what you think, and also share with me what kind of information you would like me to bring to you about ownership, homeowners associations, and buying, selling, all of that stuff in real estate. Okay, so homeowners associations. First of all, did you know that homeowners associations are required to be established by the builder before they can get permitted to start a new community? That's correct. It is the requirement of the city on which it is being built if it is a new subdivision, at least in the state of Georgia. I don't want to say that it's the requirement all over the United States, but at least in the state of Georgia, if it is a new subdivision community that is being established by a builder, the city that it's going up in is going to establish that it must have a homeowners association for what we call planned urban development or a subdivision. Pretty much the same thing. Why is that? Glad you asked. The reason is that it kind of takes the weight off of the city to maintain your community that you're going to be living in. At that point, the community members, the neighbors, you're basically going to be policing yourselves. Yeah, that's what it's about. One, it kind of minimizes the taxes, because if you are policing yourselves, got a little itchy eye there. If you're policing yourselves, then the code enforcement department is smaller. If you don't have to have code enforcement coming through your community and the next community and that other community and the community over there, because you're policing yourselves, then the tax requirement for the city to maintain that department of code enforcement, that revenue is smaller. So you are now paying the homeowners association, for which hopefully you are involved with by getting on the board and talking to your neighbors who are on the board, and you're policing yourselves and saying, hey, that house over there needs to have the grass cut. And then you send out a letter and you take care of it yourself. So if you were thinking you just got a raggedy old meano as a subdivision board or homeowners association community that keeps a watch on everything, well, that's really kind of required by the city. They install playgrounds in the community. They put pools in the community that you live in. Maybe not the one that you have, but certain communities have those certain amenities, and it means that they don't have to have as many parks and recreation facilities throughout the city. Did you know that's the reason? So again, you're being taxed less, but the change is that you're going to be paying your homeowners association for those amenities to be right there in walking distance of your community that you've bought into. So you want to maintain those things in your community, and then the city doesn't have to. You with me? Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if you're missing something that I'm saying so that I can answer the question. So I've established that there's two things. You're policing yourself on making sure that your own communities are maintained as far as nobody parking on the grass and not having things hanging out of the windows, and making sure that the houses of the colors are kind of maintained in a nice uniform, pretty no Pepto-Bismol colored colors, It's kind of so that, again, the neighbors are saying, we're going to maintain our community in a nice, orderly, and beautiful fashion, so the city doesn't have to come over and harass us. We're going to harass ourselves. And then you're also maintaining the amenities within your community, and you don't have to have quite as many parks and recreation facilities throughout the city area. You still have them, of course, but there's not a requirement for as many because you have the clubhouse and the swings, and some communities have a lake and all those nice things that make the community nice. And when you're able to maintain and police yourselves, you don't have to have code enforcement come and give you a ticket. Did you know that? I hope I've helped with some great information for you. And if not, if you still have a question about it, just hit me up in the comments. I'd be glad to answer your question.